everything within my power to clear his name.
Time to bring the pain.
Oh, crap.
Who are you?
I was hoping you wouldn't make Daddy use his belt.
Daddy likes the middle.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 8. And for this video, I'll be going over a bunch of different stuff. I will be breaking down the trailer for episode 8 of this season, as well as go over the synopsises for episodes 8, 9, and 10, because they're all kind of linked together. And we do have some details and teases on the next main villain, that being for graphic novel number 6, and it does kind of give those teasers in the synopsises, which is why I want to go over all three of them. So we will kind of be theory crafting, but I will go more in detail with that theory for another video, because this will mainly be centered around the trailer and who the main villain could be. So yeah, last episode was pretty much the final episode of Interlude Part 2. We do know that we will be getting another interlude this season as well, those being episodes 15, 16, and 17. I am very worried about that, but I will most probably touch upon that topic on another video as well. But going into this episode, episode 8 of this season, although the trailer makes it feel like a filler episode, it isn't. Eric Wallace did say that the next graphic novel, which is this graphic novel that we're entering right now, will have quite a slow build-up. But from various synopsises, we do know for a fact that episode 8 is tied to this upcoming graphic novel in some way. So although it will feel fillerish, it's not going to be a filler episode. It is the first episode of graphic novel number 6. But yeah, before I obviously break down the trailer itself, I will go over the synopsis for this episode, as it does give us a better idea in regards to what we should expect going into it. So the synopsis for episode 8 goes as follows. An investigation gets heated. Barry trusts his instincts during a murder investigation, believing the suspect despite the overwhelming evidence against him. Meanwhile, Iris gives Allegra an opportunity to be a mentor. Now, in regards to the synopsis itself, I will go more in detail with it during the trailer breakdown itself, as the trailer pretty much covers what the synopsis alludes to over here. But something that does get me pretty excited about this episode is that it does look like we will be getting a lot of Barry doing some CSI investigating stuff, which is something I really like. And this specific story is obviously going to be taken very personally to him, considering Barry's past being somewhat of a similar nature and feel to what this episode will be like. So this episode will feel very Barry focused, which is something I do really appreciate. But yeah, the trailer kicks off with a very familiar face, that being Jacob Birch, aka The Hotness, most notably the "Where's my money" guy, or "Gimme my money" from season 4 episode 16 titled Run Iris Run. Now of course, he does look quite different to when we last saw him, but he is the same actor and it is the same character. But he's pretty much using his abilities against a couple of CCPD officers over here. He's most probably trying to defend himself, and CCPD are like, trying to arrest him or something, and he's just confused in regards to why he's being arrested. And this is obviously until Barry, as the Flash, runs in and pretty much just tosses him into the water, that obviously neutralizing Jacob Birch's abilities. And we do have Jacob Birch pretty much telling everyone, and he's pleading to the Flash that he is innocent and he didn't do anything. And of course, when we reiterate back to the synopsis, it does say, Barry trusts his instincts during a murder investigation, believing the suspect despite the overwhelming evidence against him. So pretty much there is a metahuman with fire abilities going around and killing people, and there's a lot of evidence suggesting that it's Jacob Birch due to his fire-like powers. So we do know that Jacob Birch is innocent, and despite Barry being responsible of him being locked up because he's the one that got him arrested by CCPD, he does believe that he is innocent and will get to the bottom of this regardless of what happens. We then cut to the shot of Barry in the Cortex, and he's just scanning something across the city. I'm guessing for like heat signatures or something along those lines. We then see him in his lab at CCPD, and he does say, "This doesn't feel right," we have to help him. Barry is obviously pleading this case to Cecile, and the synopsis does say, despite the overwhelming evidence against him. So Barry does believe Jacob Birch. So it does look like it will be a very tough job for Barry and Cecile to get through. And it does look like Cecile finds it hard to believe that Jacob Birch is innocent, and as we said before, despite the overwhelming evidence against him. So there's still a lot of evidence pointing towards Jacob Birch being the villain or being the murderer. So maybe Cecile will be along the lines of, okay Barry, how do you think that this guy is innocent? There's a lot of evidence showing that it's him. So it's probably going to be something like that. Obviously Cecile is going to defend him because that's pretty much her job. She's going to do it. And also Barry believes that he is innocent as well, which is pretty much another reason to why Cecile will help out. And I'm really interested to see where this goes. We do then cut to Frost in the lounge in Star Labs, and we have her saying to Barry, "You're asking us to believe something impossible." Once again, just further showing that Barry is just totally against everyone in regards to Jacob Birch's innocence. But this episode does get me very excited because after all, this is an experience very personal to Barry. He does obviously say in the trailer, if anyone had when I was a kid, my father would not have gone to jail. That's obviously believing in the impossible. This is obviously very personal to Barry because despite the overwhelming amount of evidence pointing towards Henry Allen being the murderer of Nora Allen, Barry knew that it was not him who killed his mother. And everyone else obviously thought that it was Henry Allen. So this episode will be a very nice parallel to that storyline, which is something I do really like and I'm really interested to see. But yeah, we do really see Barry doing everything in his power to clear his name. We do have him going to the bar, analyzing crime scenes, and then he goes to analyze which could point towards Jacob Birch being innocent. And then later on in the trailer, we do see this like big massive investigation board in Barry's lab, and he's pretty much investigating every little tidbit. He's trying to see any connections between the two victims and Jacob Birch as the main suspect. And like, you know, he has these like notes everywhere. So Barry is going all in for this. He's trying to find anything related, even the smallest thing he could find to prove that Jacob Birch is innocent. And this does get me really intrigued for this episode. And this episode just seems to be really heavily related to Barry doing his CSI stuff, which is something we don't really see that much. Obviously we have seen it quite a bit in season 7 and we have seen it for a little bit in season 8 as well. So we do have it, like they do still acknowledge that yes, Barry is a CSI, but we don't see it that often. So every time we see Barry do these CSI stuff, I do really appreciate it and I do really enjoy it. And as I said, like seeing Barry do his CSI stuff as well as like being the Flash, it does really just bring this feel of the older seasons of the Flash, which is something once again I do really appreciate, which is why I'm really excited about this episode. We do know, however, that this is the first episode of the next graphic novel, and it does seem like the main villain for this graphic novel is not going to be a speedster, and Eric Wallace did already confirm that it's not going to be a speedster. And to actually further analyze who could possibly be the main villain for this graphic novel, I will also go over the synopsis for episodes 9 and 10 because they are kind of linked to what we're going to talk about over here. So the synopsis for episode 9 goes as followed. The Fire Within. Barry and Team Flash get closer to figuring out the fire meta, but no closer to finding him. Meanwhile, Iris needs a distraction and follows the story at Coast City. So from this, it does look like this fire meta is going to be the main villain, as it is an ongoing theme recurring with these synopsises. So it does look like we will be having some good mystery being established and obviously revealed later on, and we will have Team Flash just, you know, further working together to find this meta. And this is something I really love, that they brought this like mystery aspect back into the show, something we didn't get during the Flash season 7, and obviously we did get it during Armageddon, which was something that really worked and really like, you know, gripped the audience. So us getting this mystery again for this graphic novel, it does get me really excited. But then going over the synopsis for episode 10 of this season. With bated breath, Barry's desire to keep Team Flash safe is tested when Frost recklessly courts danger as she tries to stop the Black Flame. Meanwhile, Iris tries to help a teen girl reunite with her mother, but unintentionally does more harm than good. So over here by episode 10, it does seem like Team Flash have identified the fire meta, and the villain seems to be someone called the Black Flame. Now yes, there is actually a DC villain called the Black Flame in the comics, and she's a female character from Kandor, and I believe she's half Kryptonian as well. But I do think that the synopsis is talking about another person over here, and we do see this person in set photos, so I will bring it up. But I have two theories. Either the Black Flame is actually going to be revealed as Ronnie Raymond, since we do know that he, as Firestorm, is someone with fire abilities. And yes, I know that he isn't able to use those abilities without Martin Stein, but there could be some other way they find a way to make him use his abilities and become the villain. We do know that Ronnie will be returning for episodes 11 and 12, so it is possible that the person they are referring to as the Black Flame over here is potentially Ronnie Raymond. But we also know that episode 11 of this season is actually titled Resurrection, so it is possible that whoever is Black Flame, or whoever the Black Flame is, he is the main villain, and he is responsible for Eddie and Ronnie coming back. And maybe his motive is to tear Team Flash apart from the inside, because we do know that both of these characters are confirmed to return in this very graphic novel, so there needs to be a reason to why they come back. And this is what Eric Wallace says in regards to Ronnie's return being tied to Caitlin in some way. It isn't a coincidence that she starts to date and Robbie Amell is guesting on our show. It's part of the complicated journey that she's going to go on to really kind of find out who she is at her core, because that's what we wanted to ask this season. So it is possible that the return of Eddie and Ronnie could be done on purpose by the Black Flame to pretty much weaken the Team Flash. Because of course Ronnie's return would put a massive toll on Caitlin, but also Eddie's return could cause significant damage to Barry and Iris as a couple. So of course it could be tied to that. If you guys would remember on the shoot for one of the episodes, now that being episode 10, since we could tell from the synopsis, because Frost does face off against someone, and that does link with the set photos over here. So this is a set photo from episode 10 of the season. But we did have the Flash and Frost facing off against a villain we have never seen before. But he was wearing the Quantum Splicer, and that is obviously the thing Ronnie used to wear to obviously merge with Martin Stein and become Firestorm. This could be who the Black Flame is. Maybe the Black Flame was able to use the Quantum Splicer to merge himself with Ronnie, but he is in control and Ronnie is only in the head. So the Black Flame could be the one going around and killing people, and Ronnie could just be stuck subconsciously. That could also be possible as well. But yeah, we do have some promo images to go over for this episode as well. Firstly, we do have a couple of shots of Frost and the Flash looking down at something. So I'm assuming that Frost and Barry are working on trying to get to the bottom of this fire meta case. And since both Barry and Frost are looking down at something, it is safe to assume that they have found another dead body who has just pretty much been burnt up. Of course, Frost will come in handy in this situation, saying that she's dealing with a fire meta around. And I do really love this full shot of the Flash suit with the gold boots. It just looks really cool, so yeah, I just wanted to mention it. We do also have this normal shot of Barry and Iris, and this is obviously in the morning where they're just pretty much getting ready for their casual day. And we do also have Allegra showing something to Iris in the Central City Citizen, and this does have something to do with the synopsis where Iris gives Allegra the opportunity to be a mentor, and Iris will most probably be feeling off due to her time sickness kicking in. So yeah, I'm really interested to see where that storyline will go as well. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below what you guys are most looking forward to going into this graphic novel. I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.